All right, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, programmers. Welcome to my blog joke. So, okay, so this is for the benefits of everybody, although we are like three lang kayo andito. Initially, you were given 20 points for the laboratory examination. That is actually coming from your attendance in cybersecurity. So I gave 20 points now for all of you who attended pero katong nag-perfect, wala na ko'y kabutangan. So, wala to siya mabutangan. Okay. Anyway, so, but still, IP pa rin siya. So I'm still in the middle of checking formative assessments as well as laboratory examination. So with that, I was thinking of since naapa mo'y actually ano ko sa link ano nato sa nina office about katong if naapa daw ko'y paired courses for Coursera. So kato na lang siguro akong gamiton. And actually mas okay siya, at least na mo'y certificate, and at the same time that will be, you can also obtain scores katong sa mga wala nag-ano ha sa hands-on examination. Okay, so optional lang sa ano, pero much better if ikaw din dones ka sa ano na din yung Coursera. Anyway, gamay lang man to na topics akong i-include, specific lang na mga topics. Dili siya entire Java jud siya. All right, so for today we're going to discuss the following. Now we have dynamic arrays, although it has been already uploaded and some of you are already have already responded or submitted the activities for this, and then that's it. No, we'll be discussing dynamic arrays. Next is we'll be also discussing classes and objects, and then GUI, and then for your project making, I'm going to demonstrate maybe later, no? Siguro sa afternoon na yan siya, the CRUD, no? Create, retrieve, update, and delete. So now let's start with the first agendum, which is dynamic arrays. Sige. Naka-share screen ba? Okay. Dynamic. How do I this one? Remove. Paano hindi siya i-remove ning makita niyo ang presenting? Wala pa no? Okay, sige. I don't like this one na naa-dire. Yan pin. Sa ba? Ayun. Okay. Alright. So, yeah, Java has actually a lot of dynamic arrays available with for us to be used. No, there are actually a bunch of libraries that we can use in manipulating and managing data. So, as we all know, when we use arrays, the limit it has been common knowledge that its limitation is its capacity, and it's an index base wherein you can only store specific record or data. Now, let's say if you're going to declare an array of let's say price, it could either be ang data type niya is isa lang, no? Single type data type. Like double lang siya or integer, so you cannot mix them. You cannot mix the data, no, to be stored in that particular array. So another one is, as I've said, it's limited to only its size. So based on what's specified, yan lang yung size na i-ano ng array. So although it can shrink and it can grow, but once you have already specified the size of an array, it will be automatically it will stick to that size. So that's the one of the limitations of arrays. And then also isa sa mga which is one that causes arrays index out of bounds. So yan yung problem with arrays. So, but the good thing about arrays is that it will teach us a lot of things, particularly mga ways of doing in a hard code way, adding elements, retrieving elements, as well as removing elements. Kasi it's not available in arrays yung mga methods. Like, you will be the one to really create the algorithm for managing this data. Unlike dynamic arrays, everything is automatic na siya. So, that's it. Now, the dynamic arrays will not exist, or mali din ang spelling sa tong arrays. The dynamic arrays will actually exist because of arrays itself. So, let me refactor muna this one. Hindi pa na ako ni ma-refactor. Here. Yun. Refactor. Where are you? Oh. Ayun. Okay, so Java has a super class which is called list. And the list is the parent of this particular dynamic arrays. So we have arrays, array list, vector, and we also have linked list, stack queues. They are the under list algorithm. So in Java, in data structures and algorithm, we'll be discussing some of this algorithm. So, but for this class, we're going to discuss only two, array list and vector. Have you heard of that? Array list lang. How about vector? Wala pa. Wala. Sa C# lang. Okay. So let's have here array list. Yeah. So let's start with array list. So it's under java.util, no? So now this the E here stands for the element. So we can actually remove this one for now. Then let's have here our list is equal to new, say array list. Yeah. So we can remove this delimiter here, right here. So as you can see, array list has constructors. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 constructors. Now in the event na you will pass this course, you will actually know how to create constructors sa object-oriented programming ninyo. So 5 constructors are used to initialize our object. So as you can see, without constructors, you are not able to do that in Java. So Java has this default constructors. So this is actually called as default constructors or constructor. There are actually 3 types of constructors sa Java. We have default constructors, parameterized constructor, and copy constructor. We also have this term called destructor, but that is only available in C and C++. But in Java, it's no longer available. Now, the idea is no longer available because Java is automatically, there is a garbage collection in Java. So, gaigo siya, garbage in, garbage out. The moment you will, the moment the program is closed, it will automatically destroy the object. So, in C++ or C, you will need to do it manually. Like you have to include the destructor. So right here, array list is basically a wrapper class. It's a reference class, and therefore this array list is an object. And with the new means you are creating an instance of a class of this particular class, which is array list, and then this is a method, which is same name of your class, and then definitely that is what we call constructor. Okay, when every time you will see a method that is the same siya sa name sa class, that is called as constructor. Okay. So now we can use the object now, our list that. So as you can see, there are methods that we can use. So we have add, and then there are actually polymorphic methods right here. The add, wherein you can add object, you can add data to it. You can also add using the index at a certain value. So that is something like an insert. So an insert statement where you can insert a specific value to a specific index. And then you have a lot of methods that you can use here. So let's start with the add. Okay, so add. Okay, so right here, we can add something like, let's say, Apple. Okay, then let's just copy paste this one. Ay, sorry. Say banana. And we can even create or store an integer value. Let's say, let's have here 89. And you can have here character. Let's say F. Okay, so if you can notice, there is a warning here. Since a warning is it's not good if your application will have a lot of like warnings na hindi na siya good, but for if ano lang siya for like 1, 2 or 3 warnings lang, okay lang yan siya. But this is telling us na the compiler is actually telling us that you're storing a generic type array list. So meaning you can store as different data. So variant siya. Kung sa Visual Basic pa siya or sa C#, the data type is actually variant. So variant means you can store different data. Okay, like string, integer, double, float, whatever you would like to store in that particular list. So now we can explore this one. So if you want to insert a specific value, i-list muna natin ang element, no? So in order for us to list the elements, we can just call directly the object, and when you run this one, this will display all these elements in a bracket. So that means we get to store the data or these elements in an array in a dynamic way. Dynamic way because every time we insert data or we add data, it just grow its size. And whenever we remove, it will shrink its size. Unlike sa array, we will be the one to maneuver it, no? Either mag-increase pa siya or mag-decrease pa siya. But the size will remain the same. Tama? Okay. So that's it. Now, what if we're going to insert data to an array list? Let's say arraylist.add. So as you can notice, dalawang add methods containing in the particular array list, in the array list. So this means that we can insert a specific value via index. So let's say we're going to insert this at index 3. Okay, so let's say we have here cupcake. So if we're going to call this one, this would mean that this will be inserted after 0, 1, 2, dire. This will be inserted at 50.89. So it's not going to replace, but it's going to cascade the value of 50.89 to the right. And then the cupcake now will take the position of 50.89. So we can call that one through our list. And then, so right there, the 50.89 and the rest of the data are cascaded to the right, while cupcake is actually taking the position of 50.89. So di ba easy kayo, no? Kung sa array pa ni kay isa-isahon ninyo og index manumanuhon. Okay? So sir, nganong so maybe you may be asking nganong kailangan mo rin mag-array sir, nganong day array list, naman day vector. Okay? So syempre it's like kuan ba? It's like sa sakyanan gun na ay automatic na ay manual. No? So it's also good to know the manual cars before we move into automatic cars. Well, either way naman. So but mas okay kung if you know manual kasi it would be easier to know automatic. Compare gikan ka sa automatic then you're going to shift to manual. So medyo layo ra ang sana, di ba? Have you guys tried from automatic tapos nag-manual mo or manual to automatic? Mas advantage kung nag-manual mo going to automatic. Anyway, my elaboration on that is that it would be good if you know as a beginners in programming has to know the ways of doing things, especially the hard code way, because that will give you a lot of things and ideas, especially mga logical. Okay, it's going to develop your logical thinking. So, and actually that's the very reason why arrays has been there always. I mean, it's not removed in that as a Java structure or even in other programming languages. So now we can call another. So if we want to remove, you can just call remove. 'Di ba? Ang remove sa array katong usual or itong regular array, ang remove niya unsa? You'll need to have loops, no, 'di ba? Tapos i-cascade nimo, you will be the one to do cascade. Kay wala may remove na method sa array. So, ayan, you can remove either via index or either via object. So, we can remove via index. Let's say I want to remove index 1. Yeah. So, I can store this one to, let's say I want this to anong i-return nito. So, ang i-return niya is object. So, I can let's say rem na lang is equal to that remove. So I can use the remove, the rem, no, as the value or the variable being I mean the variable that is assigned after you call the remove. So you can also do this one, rlist that remove. Then let's have here banana. So dapat case sensitive man din si Java, so you need to really dapat si banana in dapat same spelling. So now if you're going to call the method, I mean the object, the only containing elements are now apple, 12. So banana is no longer found. Then yes, mo cascade po siya going to the left. And then mag-decrease po ang size ni array list. So let's see kung nagka-decrease pa ang size. First occurrence. Sige, try na to. Good question. Let's say for an instance, I have here, good question. Let's say 1, and then I have at line 18, I remove the value 1, no? Meaning index 1. Expected na ang ay na lang ni. Dili na to sa, okay, dili na to ibutang. Okay. So, we added 1, expected that apple, banana 1, 1 at index 2, tama? Pero, at line 18, we opted to remove index 1 or either remove the value 1. Unsa kaya ang yang i-follow? Unsay higher precedence, ana? Diba? So, na po na yung algorithm si si arraylist. So, what do you think is the unsa iyang gi-remove? Unsa may ang gi-remove? The banana. So, precedence. Order of precedence is index before object. Kasi index-based man gud ang arrays. Di ba? Array list is still an array. Okay? Vector still an array. Kana sila mga array gyapon na. So, higher precedence in the order of that, unahon niya ang index before i-check sa niya kung index siya, nabay index and ana, then before removing the elements. Okay. So, good question, Ayesha. Okay. So, there are a lot of things we can explore in our list, no? So, example, di ba sa array, how do we search for a value sa array? Regular array. Mag-loop. Tapos, grabe kayo ang ang looping, no? If ever na nasa last ang gi-search nimo, kailangan niya i-linear ang pag-traverse, tama? From one location from the beginning towards the end. Then worst case scenario, data structures and algorithm, pag wala yung nakita na value. So mo na worst case, no? Now, how do we do that in what they call this one? There is a method here. So we have our list that contains. So imagine without match code, no? Nadili na to siya i-code. So, but again, most probably, what's inside of this code is a loop, right? So, contains, it's a Boolean. Check ninyo guys, Boolean siya, meaning it returns either true or a false. So, if we're going to use this one, let's say, I'm gonna check if there's cupcake. Ayan. So if it says na true, then therefore, there is cupcake. Yes, there is. So therefore, pwede ko na siya gawin as like this one. If our list that cupcake, that contains, let's say, constant lang natin yung cupcake. I can say something that cupcake is, so cupcake, or let's say gawin natin na string search na lang para dili malibog ang uban, just in case, no? Cupcake. Ayan. Can you now imagine na pwede niyo mabuhat with this one even kung natay menu, no? Searching, adding, removing. So let's replace this with search. So pwede niyo siya ito lowercase, it's up to you, no? But again, like that, no? String search, and then search is found. Pwede na to ibutang up. Tapos, the good thing about array list is pwede nimo makitaan asa na index. Okay? Array list that index of. So, imagine. So, makita niya asa dapit makitaan through the use of index of. Diba? Automatic. Yes, di na mag-loop. Or there's no need of actually loop. Okay? But syempre, no, ang katulang yun, the good thing about array is you can use regular loop, mga if, di ba, mas ma-practice yun mga ano. Pero syempre, this was created because of that na algorithm. Kaya kani sila mga built-in algorithms naman sila. Ang sufficient, ang processing, with that, ang array is, since array is not an object, so dito siya sa stock memory. So lahi siya og memory. Kani heap memory. Sa heap man any reference class object na sa heap memory. Atong mga regular na array na ato siya sa stock na memory. So with regards to your question, if asang mas efficient nila, syempre mas efficient pa rin ang regular na array. Okay? Kaya lang, advantage is that you can store as much as data as you can without compromising the size of your array. Dili ma-use up, dili ma-expose ang size, something like that. So, let's have here our list that, okay, there is this here na size, no? So, pwede nyo makita kung unsay size sa array. So, let's say, gawin natin dito as at the very, so, our list that size. Ayan. So, lagay na lang natin dito na size. This one. So, dapat 0 siya. And then, pagdating dito, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dapat 6. Whenever, since dito is nag-add siya ng 1, dapat 7 na. And then, pag dating dito na remove, may dalawang na remove, dapat ilan na lang siya? 5 na lang, no? Yan. So let's try. So 0, then 6, then 7. Dapat, what happened? Anong 6 gihapon? R list that remove. Ay, okay, okay. Because, oo, tama. No, wala na remove ang, tama ba? There's no more banana in there. So, very good eye. So, since there's no more banana because it was removed at line 24, tama? So, ang return ani niya is supposed to be object, but ang return ani niya is true or false. So, true if it is removed, otherwise false. Kani siya ang return aning remove na index is object. Object meaning the value itself na i-remove. Gets ninyo? Lahi siya na pang ang tawag nato ani remove either you can remove an index and remove value. Ang tawag nato ana polymorphic method. Sa object oriented programming ninyo na kanang kamo na maghimo sarili ninyong inana. So mao na ninyong buhaton actually in object oriented programming. Then data structures pa. Kadto na jud ang hardcore ng mga programming actually. Kaya siya computer programming concepts nino, di ba? Basic, okay? Ang mga advanced na sa OOP and data structures. All right, what else do we have here? Our list. So again, there's a lot of things na ma-explore na to. We have kaning
para instead na baka itong gaganina kaya material ay kanang ipulihan o cupcake cascade lang itong value before, pero kung what if posible mo pulihan yung mismo itong value before
set
set.
So pulihan mo siya like gusto nimo, good question, gusto nimo na let's say cupcake, nag-exist pa ba ang cupcake? Tama? Napa? So i-set na to ang cupcake 3 ba? Unsay ni sige basta i-set na lang nato. Let's say i-set na to ang index let's say sa any random na lang. Tapos nato, let's say unsa may data na nato MMCM na lang. So dapat pag abot dire would be tama din nakalimot ko good thing that you asked. So we have kani siya diri 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ang 50.89 is now replaced by MMCM. So na-change na siya to MMCM. So you will have to call the word set and the method set. So sa array, so nana po na siya yung mga, and there are napod siya mga R list that is empty, so it will return true if the array is empty or not. Okay? So, and then we have equals. Meron din siyang equals. So, what's the difference between contains and equals? What do you think? The difference between contains and equals? Contains and equals. So, kay kalalayan sa contains ug equals.
Kasi pag equals kay parehado lang yung
sige, try na to
sa cupcake sir. Parehado lang yung sulod sa tanan.
R list that equals tapos butang nato si search man to nato ibutang no?
Sir.
Okay, ang isa kay contains. Okay, so look at the So rlist dot equals, tapos ang isa true, ang isa false. So what do you think is the difference between the two? Yes, i-compare nimo ang two different array list, dili katong value. It's another array list should be compared when we use equals. Okay, and isa pa ba? So you can also do clear, no? Tanggalon nimo, i-remove nimo tanan. You can also how about sir kanang I want to retrieve, no? Siyempre katong retrieve. Napoy remove if, actually daghan kay na dra guys. Napoy split nimo into array, split nimo into iterator. So this time, what if sir I want to retrieve a specific value? Index of, no, remove, delete pod. Retrieve lang. So the retrieval is you will use the get. Okay? So example, butang na ko, string val is equal to rlist dot get. So get na ko ang, let's say, index 2. Ayan. So what's the problem with this one is kailangan lang nato i-typecast siya into string. Kasi string ang iyahang object manggod. So object ang expected na value i-return, so therefore we need to string or typecast that one, or otherwise gawin mo itong object, then there's no need anymore of string. Gets? So yan. So with this, pwede pa rin magamit ang loop sa array list. I mean, of course, no, why not delete? So right here, you can actually do something like in I is equal to, say, 0, I is less than to rlist that length, size pala, and then I plus plus, and then you can display your the value. So we have here rlist that get. So pwede mong gawin yan. Do you follow? Yeah. No, it will not be removed. Get will only retrieve. Yung remove, yun yung mag-remove ng yung remove method or function. So this is using regular loop, no? So pwede rin gamitin ninyo ang for each loop. So how the for each loop will be used? So yung for each loop, ay na lang na. Ay na lang iterator. So I can have here string. If I want to treat everything as string, let's say string obj na lang. That r list. And then, so yeah, we'll need to make this as an object. Okay, gusto niya. So that's it. Then, instead, obj na lang yung i-ano natin. Okay, that is using for each loop. Okay, regular loop versus for each loop. Okay, very good question. What if in that situation, you will only store this array na dili siya generic type, you will only store specific record, meaning single type lang siya. Then you will use the delimiter kani. And then let's say integer lang imuhang gusto i-store. Then you will use this one na integer lang. Then your anything that is anything in your array list na nag-store siya of string will be occurred or will occur as error. So, di na siya generic imuhang array list if that's the case. What do you mean? Naga-warning? Like object, ana-ana. Ibutang nimo object. Object, sorry. Kani i-object nimo. Oo. Yeah, object siya. Okay, ang object kasi is variant kasi siya. Pwede string, pwede double, integer. Okay, and then pag gusto nimo siya specific, integer, double, putahan dyan mo siya og specific na type here. So, yeah, amazing kayo si ArrayList. Actually, sa Python, it's the same with list. Sila. Ang katulang kuan, dili si list, si kuan to, tuple. Daghan upat mo na sa list, tuple, dictionary, and set. Diba ang sa Python kay inaani man, let's say list equals ana morning list sa Python. Pag inani set nin siya. Pag kani dictionary. Tapos katong isa list og list og tuple pareha lang pero dili siya mag-random yata tong tuple. Ang set ang dili pwede na ay duplicate. Oo. Yeah, so this is the array list, no? So now I hope you can imagine now na pag butang tag menu, whenever mag-add kag data, ang imong tawagon na lang is this one, tama? Can you now imagine katong gibuhat ko nato sa array na daghan kaayo taas kay code? With this one kay kan isa na lang ka call, tama? And then we have also basta again it's almost everything is ano na nana dire. So that's it for array list. Now let's proceed to vector. Actually sa vector, array list and vector are siblings. So therefore there's not much difference between the two. Di ba murag sa kung magsuon mo halos pare-pareha lang mo mga attributes, yung skin type, yung nana god, but anyway, naa sila difference, but let's in order for me to give you the difference, let's just change this to vector instead of array list. So i-change na to siya into vector para di na ta madugay. So we have vector. Ayan. So look at it. Everything that works for array list is also works for vector. Kita ninyo? Yan. Okay, very good question. I like it, no? Sige, maghimo na lang pud ko dre og array list. Wait. Actually, naa sila certain algorithm na gina-follow. Lahi-lahi sila. So let's start with the vector muna. Then can you i-comment muna natin siya. And then let's have this one as balik natin si array list pero i-comment muna natin, ha? Array list and then array list. Okay. So this time we use vector. Our list now is vector. Sige. So actually since vector yung object natin this time, our list has capacity. I mean the vector has capacity wherein si our list doesn't have capacity. So meaning aside from makuha nato ang size, makita po nato ang capacity. For example, we can know kung pila ang capacity sa tuang array sa tuang list or sa array, like that. Yan. So aside from that, there are also functions like elements at, elements. Okay, tawagin natin sila. Okay. Okay, dito na lang tayo mag-call. Okay, so check. Dito nyo i-check yan siya. This is the method. This is the return value na i-return and then iyahang class vector. So check everything vector siya vector. So check nato ang elements at. So elements at index 2, can have that one. So unsay napansin ninyo kay vector, mas daghan siya og function compared to array list. Napo siya first element. Yan. Na siya mga inana na mga method, no? So that last element. So kung naay first element, napoy last element. Okay. Yan. So max min, I guess marag wala. Pwede ta mag innovate later on. Then we have, sige, i-answeran ako to imong pangutana later ha. So napo tayo, I guess, add elements which is wala sa remove all elements na wala sa ni. And then we can also set new size. Okay? And then even ayan. Sige, now okay. So, di sana ko answeran tong niya siya. Ibalik na ko siya into array list. So therefore okay. What do you think is the error now? So this is only for vector. You cannot call this one in array list, tama? So kay vector lang yun siya. So it's like, yeah, igsuon sila na yung property inani si vector and array list na common, pero na slight differences. Most likely si vector ang high-end na list algorithm. Okay? So since array list na ni siya karon, you cannot call element at first element, last element, and capacity. Very good. The more na daghan kag function, and then the more na anyway, function method, the more na in terms of space complexity, mas daghan jud og si vector. Pero if ang object-oriented programming nila nagibuhat is inheritance, and therefore there's no need for vector to create method that is existing in an array list pag nag-exist na siya. Meaning, si vector, either kung nag-inherit ni siya kay array list, then therefore, no need of declaring add sa vector because it's already existing in the array list. The only thing that it's going to be added sa vector is kanina lang. Which is later, ato na siyang anhon. Taganto mo idea gamay sa object-oriented programming. Para pag abot niyo OOP, follow up na lang, no, supplement. Pero dili yun nato na ma-discuss tanan kay dako man gyud ang ayong discussion ang object-oriented programming. No? So napanay mga mga pattern, no. Setters, getters. Nana sila tapos na ni mga ADTs and all. So now if you're going to ask me yung question mo kanina about the difference between the two is aside from this, ay di na ako ni need yan. Aside from these differences na may daghag method si vector kaysa kay array list is that ang vector is start with array list. Si array list mo grow siya by 50%. Meaning ihang size will grow by 50%. Tama ba ko? And then si vector is mo double its size. So in short, times 2. Times 2 in the size, in the base size. Okay. Unsa na, sir? Sige, let's start with array list. I cannot prove to you sa array list, but this is what the book will tell us na si array list will grow by 50%. So dili na ko ma-prove kay array list, pero ma-prove na ako kay vector. So let's have, so actually kung mag-array list ta guys, you can have here an initial capacity or size of, let's say, 10. You can set the size of array list to 10. So pwede nimo siya i-set. Sige, vector man nino, tanggalon sa nato ni. So basin ng ano na mo. Wait lang. Just to give the answer sa question ni Aisha, try natin na 4 lang para even. Okay? So the moment na ano siya, since 50% mo grow ang array list, therefore kani siya in di ba index 0 1 2 3 4. Pag-abot dire ang imuhang array list na current capacity this time would be 8 na. I mean, what's 50% of 4? 2. Di ba? Dapat 6 na. So, ang capacity nimo this time, 6 na dapat. So, mo grow, mo shrink siya by 50%. Gets? So, the moment na ma-use up niya ang current size or ang size sa imuhang array, it will grow by 50%. Okay? So 6 naman the moment na mag-add na pud ka, so this is nana siya allowance na 2 na po, di ba? So ang base na po niya ang 6 na po. So pag abot dire kay let's say index 0 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 ika 5 na, then 6, then nag-add na po ta 7. So additional dili siya mag-index out of bounds. The next na po is 50% of 6 is 3. So, mag-grow na po imuhang size now to additional 6 plus 3, mahimo na siyang 9. So, nalang siya gamay na i-add, no? Inana yan. Add ang si vector kay 3, no, dili, mo double lang siya sa size. So, kung 4 siya, si vector 4 ni abot na use up niya ang 4, ang current capacity now sa vector dire, kung vector siya, mahimo siyang 8. Kung ma-use up na po ito niyang 8 times 2 na po 16. Grabe iyahang increase. So mura siya og unsa man na algo ang ginagamit. Kung let's say di ba kanang murag na party like kasal, kanang kasal na murag, di ba naman na allotted per head? O mo na ingon 100 kuan lang taha dapat 50 packs lang jud. So pag yung 50 packs, strict compliance sa hotel, pwedeng ang gigamit na is regular array na 50 lang jud. Dili na pwede magsobra, di pwede. Dili siya pwede magsobra. Pwede magkulang pero di pwede magsobra ang visitor, tama? Kay array man siya. Otherwise, dili pwede. Dili allowed. So kung ang gi-follow, kung ang idea is array list, so 50 packs, sige, the moment na syempre basta Pinoy kay okay, invite mo ha, o sige magdala kog ano ha, magdala kog akong pamilya, o di ba ana ha? So 1 times pila to siya, o sige example lang, na use up tanan 50 kay ang isa ka pamilya nagdala og tagduha ka anak. So let's say for an instance na use up ang 50, so since na-use up ang 50, 50% of 50 is 25, madungagan na pod og plate na 25. Regardless of kulang or regardless kung kulang man ang visitor, basta kay mag-allowance siya og an additional 25, 50% of the current packs. Gets? Now with vector mas dako ang allowance niya that is going to be added. Why? Kasi it will double its size. So meaning kung vector, what will happen is that may use up ang 50 packs, mas kung ano lang nag-isa ka person, then it will become 100 na. So kinsa may ano karon? Memory efficient si array list compared to vector. Pero nana siya i-term na mga synchronous o asynchronous si array list compared to vector. Wala there's no dili gani nato mano si array list, di nato ma-prove kung inato yang algo tinuod. Pero sa according sa book inana yang algorithm. So anyway, ma-prove nato na kay vector. Try na to kay vector ha. Try na to kay vector. So 4, tama? And then magbutang tag capacity, right dire. So ang capacity sa vector at this size niya is 4, tama? I know 0. And then capacity niya is 4. Then 1 2 3 4, dapat pag abot dire Ang capacity sa vector karon mahimo na siyang 8 ba? Tama ba? Asa man to? Capacity, ay wala lagi capacity. Ay wait, dapat sa baba pa. Dili day akong giyan. Dapat pag abot after ni siya i-run. So asa na capacity? Where's capacity? Ayun, 8. It gets kulbaan ko ba? Abi ko mani kung so, wala man siya. Okay. Si pag walay value, I guess 10 yata ang, di ko sure, pero I guess 10 yata ihang 10 yata na ang default na capacity ni unsa na. 10, tama, 10. Automatic. 10 capacity, initial. Nice. At least in the, no, tomorrow, para di na sila mag-question, mamalong tanay mag-question is no. Okay, good that you raised me that questions. So challenging, but at least I was able to answer. Yan. So that's it, no? Double the size, vector will double the size, while array list will grow only by 50%. Okay? So that is dynamic arrays. So dagan pag dynamic arrays, we have stack, queues, linked list, and we will reserve that discussion in data structures and algorithm. So, but we are not going to use the built-in algorithm. We're going to create our own sa data structures and algorithm. So now that we're done with dynamic arrays as well as its advantage of using compared to regular arrays, let's now proceed with classes and objects. So let's now discuss classes and objects. So maybe ako na lang ning i-cut ang ang video para di kay taas. Tama. Para this is for vector. So i-cut muna natin ang video. Munami is there. Mag